Hello everyone, it's me Samuel Taylor Ackroyd and welcome to another trip report on my channel. Right now I am at Edinburgh Airport and today I'm going to be flying with British Airways on board one of their Airbus A320-200 aircraft down to London Heathrow. It's been a few years since I last travelled with British Airways, so I'm really excited to see what this flight down to Heathrow Airport is like, and I hope you are all excited to come with me on this trip. We were dropped off at Edinburgh Airport by a family member, which costed £4, which is an absolute rip-off compared to the £1 it used to cost a few years ago. But after arriving, we headed inside the terminal through the doors where the check-in desks are. Since we were travelling with hand luggage only and got our boarding passes on my device, we were able to head up the escalator to security. There are also lifts if needed. Up the stairs before security, there is a WH Smith which was closed, which doesn't matter as you can't bring food and drink through security, a Wetherspoon restaurant and a Cafe Nero. I initially thought that security would take a long time to clear as it was a peak time in the morning and because of the length of the queue, but it actually only took about 15 to 20 minutes. After security, there is a corridor to walk through which has toilets and some good views of the entrance to the airport. The corridor leads to the duty-free section, which has a good selection of alcoholic drinks, snacks, toys, perfumes and more, and the duty-free section doesn't take that long to walk through. After duty free, we were in the departure lounge, which has a lot of departure boards which are always essential for airports, and a decent selection of shops and restaurants available. I decided to get a box of 3 original glazed Krispy Kreme donuts and a bottle of Lucozade, which obviously isn't a good thing in the morning, but it was a treat as we were having an aviation holiday. Our aircraft was parked up at gate 10, which has got to be one of the best gates at Edinburgh Airport, as it's where the shops and restaurants are, and it offers some great apron and runway views. Here are some shots of aircraft for you to enjoy. It's nearly that time for boarding, so let's get on board this aircraft and head down to London's Heathrow. Boarding was delayed for an unstated reason, but it didn't take long for us to board. Boarding was smooth and passengers actually boarded in the groups they were assigned, unlike some passengers on other flights. I no longer have the taxi footage, so it is straight to the takeoff footage. We took off from Edinburgh Airport's runway 24 at 10:45 AM, which is 20 minutes behind schedule, but that was probably because of the delayed boarding. Now time for a seat tour of seat 10A. The legroom was good enough for someone around 6 foot tall, which was not expected because of other reviews I have seen on BA's A319s and A320s. They also have adjustable headrests, and the seats themselves were reasonably comfortable. On today's flight, the seat back pocket contained only the safety card. Here is a look at the safety card. The tray table was a good size and is extendable. There is also some safety guidance on the bottom of the tray table. There are universal power sockets at the bottom right corner of the seat. However, there was no green light illuminated, which means that it probably wasn't working. Above the seats, there are reading lights, the air conditioning, and the usual call button to get the attention of flight attendants. All of them were in good working order. There are also coat hooks on the sides of the seats, which is a bit of an awkward place to have them. The crew came round with a free bottle of water and a breakfast bar, which were good. BA's A320s are Wi-Fi enabled, and the prices were good and cheap. However, as it's a short domestic flight, I didn't see the reason to pay for Wi-Fi. The website also has BA's High Life magazine and the High Life shop, which sells snacks and drinks. But hopefully BA bring back the paper magazine and buy on board menu, as not everyone is tech savvy. But at least they have brought back snacks and drinks to purchase. You can also track the progress of the flight on the website. The bathrooms were clean and in good working order, and someone who is around 6 foot tall can fit in here, but my head was close to the ceiling. The toilets also have baby changing facilities. It wasn't long before we were descending into London Heathrow Airport, so I will tell you the price of the flight. I paid £45.53 for the economy basic fare, which includes hand baggage only and the choice of paying for seat selection, which I did pay for, and I paid £12 for an extra legroom and emergency exit seat selection. However, because of the aircraft change from an A319 to an A320, I ended up sitting in a standard seat, which was a bit further forward, and was the only downside for the aircraft change and upgrade to a better aircraft. But at least it was only £6 or £7 that went to waste, as this seat on a BA A320 would cost around half of what the extra legroom seat where the overwing exits would cost. We land onto Heathrow's runway 09 left at 11:48 AM, which is 12 minutes ahead of schedule. A big thanks to the crew for letting me inside the cockpit of this Airbus A320. After disembarking the aircraft, we had to get on a bus which took us to Terminal 5's domestic arrivals, and after arriving there, it was barely even a minute walk to the entrance and exit of Heathrow's Terminal 5, which is the home and base of British Airways. So now that we have come to the end of the flight, I will take a few moments to summarise today's trip. Kicking things off at Edinburgh Airport, the airport as always is great. Security was a breeze, the airport has a decent selection of shops and restaurants available, and if you like plane spotting from inside an airport terminal, Edinburgh Airport is definitely the airport for you. And now that American carriers and Canadian carriers have restarted their flights to and from Edinburgh Airport, plane spotting from inside the terminal has definitely gotten a lot more interesting. Now on to the main part of the video, the flight with British Airways. The flight was really good with great seats, great staff, and the fact that they let me inside the cockpit at the end of the flight was really good, and the crew were definitely very attentive, and the service was great, and the options for the buy on board menu was good. However, I do hope that at some point in the future, maybe they've already done it at the time of recording this video, I hope that they bring back the paper buy on board menus, as, like I said already, not everyone is exactly tech savvy. And the fact that there is Wi-Fi available on this short domestic route is really good, and the prices were really cheap. However, I didn't bother parting ways with the extra cash as it was only a short domestic flight. And even though I didn't get the extra legroom seat in the emergency exit row that I paid for, the seat that I was sat at on the flight was good enough. The legroom was definitely good enough for someone who is around 6 foot tall like me, which honestly was a surprise to me based on other trip reports on British Airways short haul routes that I have seen. And my time at Heathrow Airport was also very good, and as you expect from Heathrow's Terminal 5, the design of the terminal is very modern and is an amazing design, and you definitely can't go wrong with travelling to or from Heathrow Airport, especially from Heathrow Airport. And the price of the ticket was definitely worth it, and I would highly recommend travelling with British Airways on their domestic routes to London Heathrow from places such as Edinburgh, Glasgow, Inverness, Newcastle, Manchester. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.